It was the summer of 1984, and the air was thick with anticipation as a group of five experienced cavers prepared to explore the notorious Agan Allwed cave system in the Brecon Beacons of Wales. The cave, with its dark, winding passages and treacherous shafts, had long been a challenge for the most seasoned adventurers. To those who knew its labyrinthine corridors, it was a place of mystery and allure where only the bravest dared to venture. The group, led by an instructor who had spent years navigating the depths of the cave, gathered at the entrance early that morning. They were no strangers to danger. Each of them had years of experience, and the cave was a place they knew well. They carried the best equipment, triple-checked their supplies, and reviewed their plans before descending into the earth. The thrill of the unknown was what drew them, and Agan Allwed seemed like the perfect playground for their skills. As they entered the cave, the sound of dripping water echoed through the narrow passages. The deeper they went, the darker it became. The light from their headlamps flickered and danced on the wet walls, casting strange shadows on the cave's uneven surfaces. Despite the dangers, they pressed forward, eager to explore uncharted areas and push their limits. But something they didn't expect was about to occur. In one of the tightest, most challenging passages of the cave, disaster struck. One of the cavers, caught in a particularly narrow section, became wedged tightly between the jagged rocks. Panic set in as the trapped caver struggled to free himself. His team rushed to help, trying everything they could think of to pull him free. The pressure of the situation made the tight space feel even more claustrophobic, and the water around them began to rise. As time passed, it became clear that this was no simple rescue. The passages were too narrow, the terrain too difficult to navigate. The group was stuck, isolated and struggling. Desperation began to take hold, and it wasn't long before the team realized that their own safety was in jeopardy. With no other option, the cavers sent one of the team members back to the entrance to get help. The plan was to bring in a rescue team, but with each passing minute, the situation grew more dire. The stress and exhaustion were taking a toll, but they couldn't afford to give up. Hours turned into a day, and still no one could reach them. The narrow cave passages, slick with water and mud, were proving too much for anyone to safely navigate. Finally, after days of tense searching, a large team of rescuers, including local caving experts and emergency responders, arrived. They worked tirelessly, inching their way into the cave. The rescue was dangerous, and they had to move carefully. The conditions inside were brutal, cold, dark, and perilous. But after several days of relentless effort, they reached the trapped cavers. But not all would be saved. Two members of the group, weakened by the conditions and the strain of the days spent trapped underground, had died. The loss was devastating, and the tragedy shook the caving community to its core. The story of the Agan Allwed cave tragedy spread, and the lessons learned from that fateful expedition became a sobering reminder of the dangers that lurked beneath the earth.